Hello, everybody. Welcome. So excited to have everyone here for our 2026 annual meeting. Just realized that the slide says 2025. So if that is any indication about how the year is going so far, we will keep the chat open. Megan Mershman, our past president's in there to answer any questions you all might have. Otherwise, we're going to address questions in a Q&A session at the end. So thank you all for being here. We're going to get started with just some general information about the chapter. So, welcome. This is our IIDA Ohio Kentucky mission and vision statements. So, the Ohio Kentucky chapter provides meaningful resources to the commercial interior design industry to elevate and advocate for the profession. And then our vision is through a network of design leadership. Our vision is to positively impact the health and well-being of people's lives by fostering safe, inclusive, and sustainable communities. So we try and keep these mission and vision statements in the forefront when we are planning all of our programming throughout the year. I'm going to do some quick introductions of our 2025-2026 chapter board. So you've got myself. Hello, I'm Samantha Bonner. I'm your chapter president for this 2025-2026 year. You've got Courtney Kessler on here as well. She is our president-elect. She's located in the Louisville-Lexington City Center. And then you've got Megan Mershman, our past president, who is from the Cincinnati-Dayton City Center. Next, we've got all of our VPs and chapter board directors. So you've got Kristen Stubbs, our VP of Advocacy, VP of Benefactors, Ryan Castle. If you guys will do a little wave on the camera, I see a lot of you have your cameras on. You've got our VP of Communications, Aaron Ott, VP of Membership, Chris O'Toole, VP of Outreach, Hallie Luke. We have our VP of Professional Development position open right now. We'll touch on some of the other open positions later in the agenda today. You've also got our VP of Public Relations, Jade Lathan, VP of Special Events, Kate Schneider, VP of Student Relations, Carrie Hendrickson, and then our Director of Finance, Catherine Dunton. These are the folks that help make it all happen and lead the Ohio Kentucky chapter board. I've highlighted with little stars the positions that we have open for this year. Courtney later will go through kind of the application process if you're interested in filling any of these positions, but keep in mind that these 5 are who we have available right now. We have a little background on our chapter. If you're not familiar, we are the Ohio Kentucky chapter encompassing 5 city centers. So you've got, in alphabetical order, Cincinnati-Dayton, Cleveland-Akron, Columbus, Louisville-Lexington, and Toledo. We also consist of quite a few campus centers, so there are many, many interior design programs across our 2 states. Just to name a few, Bowling Green State University, Columbus College of Art and Design, Kent State University, Miami University, the Ohio State University, Ohio University, the University of Cincinnati, University of Kentucky, University of Louisville, and Western Kentucky University. We've also marked on here where our friends at IIDA HQ sit, so they are located in Chicago, Illinois. We are part of just the bigger picture of many international chapters across, I forget how many countries it is specifically, but a large membership swath here for IIDA. Representing those city centers and leading those volunteer crews are our city center directors. So each city center has a director and a co-director working as a team to help lead our volunteer groups that correspond to our VPs. So you've got Cincinnati-Dayton, Courtney Garner, and Kayla Edwards. I realized that it says Courtney Garner twice. Sorry about that. You've got Vicky Oswoski and Bethany Williams in Cleveland-Akron. We've got Hunter Miller and Tyler Hatton in Columbus. We've got Neely Gagel and Alexa Wheeler in LULEX, and then Abby Adler and Suzanne Hashimi in Toledo. These folks are the people you might see at your city center events. They are leading the charge to put on great programming locally in each of your city centers. But none of that is possible without the incredible volunteers that are at each city center, as well as across the chapter. We have over, gosh, 60 plus volunteers. That's anything from your committee members to special events teams. And these pictures are just a piece of who all those people are, but they are the ones that are the lifeblood putting on each of these events. So if you see them out in the wild, give them a thank you. Okay, then we'll go through some membership metrics. Fun fact for you, we are one of the largest chapters across the international conglomerates. So we've got 683 total members right now. We've kind of put these in order from most to least members per city center. So starting at the top, you've got Cleveland Akron with 176, followed closely by Columbus, and then LULEX, Cincinnati Dayton, Toledo, and then we have just a handful of industry folks that are not dedicated to a city center to make up that 683 members. We also broke this down a little bit further. So this is membership type across our chapter as a whole. So you can see each of these corresponds to one of these pieces of the pie chart. You've got professional members making up over a quarter of our members. So that's anybody that is NCIDQ certified, falls into that professional category. We've got a little over a quarter of our industry members. You've got almost a quarter of student members, which is very exciting. We have a large, large population of student members across our chapter. And then you've got that almost 20% of associate members. So that's anyone who is in that designer role that does not have their NCIDQ certification yet. We also just have a handful of educators, retired, emeritus, FIIDA, and honorary members. So that's what these sort of small little chunks up here are. This chart on the right kind of shows you that breakdown by each city center. So you can see, I'll just highlight like Toledo, a large portion of their members are students. And then each of the city centers has a different kind of balance and mix. So you can kind of see the breakdown there. With all of those membership metrics, it is renewal season. So if you have not yet renewed your IIDA membership, you need to do so by March 1st to avoid having to completely reapply for membership. It's easier if you do it before March 1st, trust me. If you have any questions, you can contact Chris O'Toole. He's our VP of membership at iidaohkymembership@gmail.com. On that same membership front, we have, I think this was 2 years ago now, gosh, time flies, put together this IIDA is Better for Business book. So what this guide kind of goes through is everything that our chapter has to offer programming wise, as well as some resources from headquarters, and just some more narrative around all of the benefits that being an IIDA member might have. We have a QR code here to that book download as well. And then coming up in 2026 that Courtney will highlight a little bit later, our membership team is working on a new CEU to go through a lot of this content for firms or groups that are interested in hearing more about what IIDA is all about. Also, as a heads up, you are going to see a lot of QR codes today. Don't worry, we will distribute a lot of this information post-event, so don't be overwhelmed by trying to scan all these QR codes. I know it can be a lot. Okay, and then we will get right into our 2025 year in review. We had a lot going on, starting with our highlight of our, gosh, how many is this in a row? Seventh in a row chapter award winner. So if you're not familiar, this is an award that headquarters gives to a handful of chapters every year for some kind of outstanding programming that has been put on the prior year. So it's sort of the crowning achievement of the year before. So our crowning achievement that we submitted was our Ohio-Kentucky Student Conference. If you are not familiar, this was a chapter-wide initiative that gathered 90 students from 9 campus centers, as well as students from Michigan, Wisconsin, St. Louis, all over the map, got to gather in Cincinnati, Dayton, in specifically Cincinnati, to go through lots of different content. We had a panel, we did a large charrette with all 90 students, visited local design firms, dealerships, all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in seeing any of the other winners from this past year from other chapters, you can scan that QR code. They are available on HQ's website as well. For our Enrich this past year, we have Our two 2024 recipients, so Elena Carson Macbeth and then Sheila Flaner, they are both working on their give backs now, so stay tuned for some more information about how they were able to use their Enrich grant funding for this past year. This Enrich grant is for members only of our chapter, and it is typically used for things like creative endeavors, educational pursuits, etc. So Elena's grant specifically was for one-to-one empowerment coaching, and then Sheila attended a Compendium Society retreat. And then for our 2025 recipients, we had two this year, Michelle C. Burmeister with the Cornell Women in Leadership course. I believe it's a 6-week course that covers lots of topics across the board for women in leadership. And then you've got Corey Craig, who is taking an Intro to Ceramics course, hoping to develop more of her creative pursuits and her kind of interior design philosophy. So stay tuned for our 2026 applications. They're typically open in early fall. We've got some folks in the chat who have participated in the grant in the past, so thank you for singing Enrich's praises. We love this program. It's been super successful for our chapter up to this point. Some more programming that we have coming up. Our Mentorship Connection 2025 cohort is coming to a close here in March. Applications are now open for the 2026 group. I can speak personally, this program is so wonderful. I've gotten to make some great connections, both as a mentor and a mentee. This is free for all IIDA members. And then you'll fill out the application and then pairs are made in March, I believe. So you can scan the QR code there, or Courtney's dropping some links in the chat as well. And then our final bucket of professional development for 2025, we hosted our 5th Thrive Leadership Roundtable. This year was all about the value of professional organizations and their role in the industry. We actually had Abby Scott, who was our moderator this year. She is a VP on the international board, and she was able to moderate these discussions with lots of lovely groups of people. If you're curious about some of the findings from that roundtable this year, you can check out the event recap on our website as well. This event is something that we host every year in May, where we have a moderator that travels to 5 city centers to speak with senior leaders in each of those groups. So stay tuned for that upcoming event in 2026. As you all might know, our odd years, so 2025, 2023, etc., is typically when we host our city center signature events. So while you might hear our even years are our chapter design awards, in each city center, they host a design excellence event or just a large program that is kind of their crowning achievement of the year. So for 2025, we had Cincinnati Dayton host their gallery event for the second time. So this event is a great way to showcase products that have won and submitted to our design awards and the Cincinnati Design Awards in the past year. It's a great way to just gather, hang out, have some great networking, and celebrate design excellence. In Cleveland Akron, they hosted their iDesign Awards again this year. Same kind of idea, celebrating design excellence. They were able to award quite a few projects and celebrate the incredible design of Northeastern Ohio. In Columbus, they also hosted their Columbus Interior Design Awards, or CIDA, as quite a few people refer to it. Again, this is an event honoring design excellence from firms in the Central Ohio region. Again, a great way to network and celebrate design excellence, as well as raise some funds for our advocacy group. Louisville Lexington hosted their design awards as well. This is the Kentucky Interior Design Awards. They were able to award projects in the Kentucky region. And they had obviously a great turnout. You can see that lovely group picture there, but again, a way to celebrate design excellence in their region, as well as promote the profession of interior design. And then finally, with Toledo, they get their own slide today. They hosted their annual boat cruise. Again, a super popular event that gets everybody out to, promote interior design and have a great time networking. If you're curious about any of these events, you can check out our recaps on our website. at iidaohky.org/news. If you've not ever checked out our blog post, there's some great recaps and resources from all of these past events in every city center. And then finally wrapping up some of the 2025 things, we've got some goals that we were able to focus on this year. This is just a snapshot of some of the things we've been working on 1, 3, and 5 years out. So this is covering everything from advocacy to outreach, professional development, all of our kind of buckets we put in these 1 to 5 year goals. Much of this year was focused on the impact of our programs on our membership. So you can see lots of goals surrounding how do we best connect our members with professional development resources that are available. So anything from advocacy town halls to bringing back our Friday Forum events, we wanted to reconnect members in impactful ways that move our profession forward. Courtney's also going to touch on our 2026 goals later, but again, that goal of providing high value programming is always at the top of our minds. We've also got a financial review for 2025. So this is kind of an overarching view of how we spend the chapter money. Obviously, in these years where we're hosting 4 or 5 different design awards and design excellence events, that's going to be your biggest chunk here with 41%. We also spend 31% on chapter and city center events and programming, 17% on chapter leadership development, 7% covers our general and admin, 2% on student-specific programming, and 2% on advocacy. So if you've attended these events before, you can kind of see the trends in how we move from city center to chapter focused, design excellence to student focused year to year, and how that can change as we shift our programming. And then finally, thank you so much to our 2025 Ohio Kentucky benefactors. Nothing that we do is possible without the support of these generous folks. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We'll talk more about our 2026 opportunities that are also available, but again, a big thank you to all of these folks. We've got some news at HQ. So we try and cover a couple of things that are happening at the headquarters level so that you all are aware of the benefits and resources that they offer for members as well. We're going to start with a couple of locals that are on our international boards and staffs here. So you've got Michelle Bolton. She's from the Cincinnati Dayton City Center. She is currently serving as vice president on the international board of directors for IIDA headquarters. And she is also serving as the 2025-2026 foundation chair. So that foundation runs lots of grants and programs you'll see on the next slide, as well as managing our Enrich Fund. Mark Bryan was recently hired as the Chief Research and Strategy Officer for IIDA. So if you see him out in the wild, tell him congrats. But he has also served as IIDA's Certified Design Futurist Proctor. If you've heard of that program, we'll cover it here in a little bit as well. Here's a brief overview of some upcoming HQ programs and awards. So they have their NCIDQ prep sessions that go from February to March. All of that information is on the HQ website if you're interested. They're great sessions where they break down lots of elements of the testing process. So if you are preparing for your NCIDQ, highly recommend. And then in March, Student Mentor Month is going on. The sign up for that closes on February 14th. Again, I can speak from firsthand. This is a great program. You get paired with a student, and then you set your cadence for when you meet pretty casually, but they connect you with folks from your area as much as possible. For the foundation, there's quite a few reimbursements that are going on. So if you took your NCIDQ in the July through December 2025 testing period, reimbursements from HQ for that are open until March 6th. There's an application on the website as well. And then there's a number of awards and sponsorships going on here. Let's see, there's a women-owned business award open right now. It's a $5,000 award for women in design. That's going towards assisting a woman-owned commercial interior design or product design business. And then coming up soon, there's the Diversity by Design Fund, the IA Diversity and Design Scholarship, and even more in the next few months. That QR code will take you directly to the foundation page where all of those are listed out. And then they've got quite a few competitions as well. So right now, Interior Design Excellence is open. The Will Ching Design Competition, which is excellence in interior design or interior architecture design from firms with 10 or fewer employees. So if you work for a small firm, that one might be up your alley. There's also a design student competition that's open now, product design awards, and the library interior design awards are open right now. And then there's a few coming up too. They try and do multiple throughout the year. So showroom and booth design competition will be open, the healthcare design awards, and more. You can visit iida.org for all of that information as well. And finally, this is the Design Futurist program that I spoke about earlier that Mark Bryan is an integral part of. We've got, I want to say 3 or 4 from our chapter that have done this program in the past as well, but this is a new thing from HQ where you can become a design futurist by taking this course. Again, that QR code can take you directly to the HQ website with that information. Now I'm going to turn it over to Kristen Stubbs to go through an overview of our advocacy efforts up to now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Sammy. So first, I want to talk a little bit about the Consortium for Interior Design. So this is coming up on its 3-year anniversary. It's a collaboration between ASID, CIDQ, and IIDA at the national level. So this was established to unify efforts in the shared belief that interior design regulation should echo the impact interior designers have on the built environment. A huge part of this consortium is that resources from ASID, CIDQ, and IIDA are pulled together to disperse to state advocacy efforts to jointly embark on new advocacy opportunities and develop national resources. So in speaking to the consortium dispersing resources to state advocacy efforts, I'm very pleased to announce that once again, the consortium has awarded us funding for the 2nd year in a row to our chapter to assist us with covering lobbyist fees in pursuit of interior design regulation in Ohio for this year. So our chapter is continuing to pursue legislation this year. We are in the process of working out a contract with our lobbyist, and you will hear more from us soon. We will have a few advocacy town halls throughout the year. You may have attended those within the past year. We will continue to do those. So the Consortium for Interior Design's advocacy software platform has changed. The previous platform, which you may be familiar with, Phone to Action, is no longer in use. The new platform is called Voter Voice. The software will use your zip code to send you direct updates on statewide advocacy efforts and legislation that impact interior design. If you previously signed up for Phone to Action, you will need to sign up again to update your contact information. And I will note that this is not a platform that is going to blow up your phone. You will rarely receive a text from this unless it's immediate action that needs to be taken. So I would definitely encourage that. So next, I want to introduce our lobbyist. He may be a familiar face to some of you. We have been working with him for the past year, and we also worked with him in pursuing legislation a few years ago. He does truly believe in our efforts, and we're very excited to continue working with him. So we hope you're as excited as we are to be pursuing legislation in Ohio. We believe that bringing interior design legislation to the state, we are elevating our profession and currently the only profession in the built environment that is not regulated in Ohio. This will expand the scope of our practice by allowing interior designers to bid on state and federal projects that require registered or licensed or certified design professionals. This will also eliminate the need for architects or engineers to stamp our work. So legislation enables interior designers to act as primary contractors on jobs and promote economic development by allowing more businesses to compete for commercial design work. So to talk about our design advocate sponsors from 2025, a special thank you to HDA, NAC, HDNS, and FinTech. The sponsorship add-on was introduced last year for the first time, and it is once again available this year. I highly encourage you add the sponsorship. As design advocates, these four companies have pledged their commitment to the growth and recognition of the interior design profession, empowering designers to make an even greater impact. Which brings us to how you can get involved. Again, more QR codes, but you can again purchase the Design Advocate sponsorship for this year. You can scan that QR code and it will take you there. The funds from the sponsorship go directly to our advocacy fund to fund our efforts in advancing interior design legislation and pledge your commitment to the growth of our profession. We also have an IIDA Ohio Kentucky merch shop. You can access the merch shop through our chapter website or this QR code, and all the proceeds from these products go directly to our advocacy fund. We've had the shop for a couple years now, but we've introduced some new merchandise over the past year, so be sure to check it out. You can also help us out by making sure you are an active NCIDQ certificate holder. The more active NCIDQ certificate holders we have in Ohio, the greater need legislators will see for our efforts. So if you are not sure if you are active, feel free to scan that QR code or reach out to us and we can help you. So if you're interested in getting even more involved with our efforts, you can join our legislation subcommittee. This committee will be the go-to group when organizing boots on the ground efforts like contacting your legislator, participating in and gathering designers for Capitol Day, participating in advocacy roadshows to multiple firms, and engaging with members of AIA Ohio in your local events. We currently have 7 volunteers signed up, so we would love to have more. And Kentucky. I recognize I've talked a lot about Ohio in the past few slides, but I want to recognize this chapter also includes Kentucky. So we have heard lots of feedback from our members in Kentucky that the current legislation there is not beneficial for Kentucky certified interior designers. If you noticed in the previous slide in our chapter goals, we are planning to pursue expanding legislation in Kentucky once legislation has been introduced in Ohio. So that is a future goal of ours. So the most important action item designers can focus on in Kentucky in preparing to pursue legislation expansion is to become registered. Again, the higher the registration numbers we can get in Kentucky, the more legislators will be interested in our future efforts. So again, another QR code on how to renew your registration. I'll turn it over to Courtney.
Thank you, Kristen. Hello, everyone. My name is Courtney Kessler, and I am the current president-elect. So I will be taking over in July when Sammy rolls into the past president role. I am very excited. We realized at the beginning of the year that I am the first Kentucky president since 2008. So we're ready to change things up a little bit around here. So it should be fun. I'm first going to touch on some of the 2026 chapter goals. I am not going to read through all of these, but know that we have these, and anytime you want to chat about them, talk about them, look at them, let us know. Just to touch on a few of the goals for the year in our 1-year category. Our goal is to bring some type of advocacy component into every city center and chapter event so that we're focusing on advocacy, propelling the profession forward, doing what's best for interior design. And then, like Kristen just said, increasing our KYCID registration by 5%. If you need help doing that, learning about it, figuring out the paperwork and details of that, please reach out to us. We're happy to help you get through that. 3-year, one of our goals is to host a student leader retreat in person. Obviously, we know our students are one of the most important factors in this chapter, and we want to figure out how to best engage them and their educators. So having that in person would be great. Stephanie McCreary just dropped in a link for the Kentucky Capitol Day on February 24th. There are a lot of interior designers planning to go, so please feel free to jump in there and join them on this journey as well. And then one of our 5-year goals, just achieving licensure in the state of Ohio. We have, as you just heard, a very large push for this right now. So we want to check that box as soon as we can. Some of our immediate initiatives in the chapter goal is to implement our advocacy toolkit on the website. So I dropped a link in there earlier for the advocacy website. The good of it is we have so many resources. The bad of it is we haven't done a great job of saying, here they all are right here for you. So the goal is that everyone is preaching the same pitch when they see legislators, when they're out in the community, whatever they're doing. Anytime you see this beautifully designed green kind of arena, that is some type of, thank you, Sammy, that is some type of advocacy initiative. So know that, and know that if you're looking for an advocacy flyer help, you're going to find it there. The Better for Business book, you all have heard a lot about. Chris and the membership team have done a fantastic job at getting this book finished, figured out, sent. The goal of this book, for those who have not seen it, is for anyone to take this to senior leaders at firms to say, this is why I should have a membership. It's for us to give to senior leaders to say, this is why your firm should be members. There's so much information in this book about why IIDA is better for business. We also use this in the legislation push to get licensed in both states, but know that it's there. And then as we develop this, like Sammy said earlier, this is going to turn into a CEU course. So you'll see information out about that we'll be offering all of this information in a meeting that also is a CEU. And then for 2026, we're really hoping to grow our outreach initiatives in every city center. So Hallie Luke is currently our VP of Outreach. You've probably seen and heard from her. The images you're seeing here is from the Columbus Pride Parade. So for those of you who aren't familiar with outreach, the goal of this is to preach interior design into other communities that may not be familiar with what we're doing, how we're trying to do it. The Pride Parade, Sammy, you would know how many people were in attendance there to know all of these people are now seeing this beautiful float from interior designers. It's catching their attention, and then they're seeing what IIDA does. Something on a smaller scale that we've done recently is dropped off the IIDA Children's Design Your World book in every little library across the state so that someone may pull that out. Inside that book is a one-pager about advocacy. So if there is anything along the way that you either think of could be a great idea or you want to be involved in any type of outreach, we welcome those ideas, as this is a newer VP position for us, but we've really had some great progress in this world. Speaking of open positions, right now today, our VP of Professional Development seat is open. So the rest of these applications are open that will start in July. VP of Professional Development, we're ready for you now. So if you're interested in any of these positions, you can scan this QR code. There's a short application process that you'll go through. You are also welcome to reach out to any of us anytime if you want to learn more about what these positions do. So president-elect, we are looking for the next president who will come in and join Sammy and I in this journey. That is a 3-year commitment, so it's a little bit different than the rest that are a 2-year commitment. VP of Communications is dealing with all of our website, our email communications that go out. That person works very closely with our VP of PR. VP of Membership, Chris has done his time. He is completely finished in the membership role as of this July. So we need the next person to come in and help us figure out how to welcome members, how to engage members, how to grow our membership, all the things that Sammy touched on in the beginning. Professional development, again, we're ready for you right now today. This person is helping with events like Thrive. NCIDQ is working in tandem with advocacy as well. Anything that could be professional development for young, mentorship, senior leaders, all of those is happening now. VP of Outreach, I just touched on a few minutes ago. This person is going to come in, be very excited, out in the community, doing fun things, and I think we're looking for someone really special for that. And then Director of Finance is if you know me at all, you know I don't want to deal with the money. I need somebody to help me with all of it. And Catherine is unfortunately finished in her term, or I would keep her on forever because she keeps us in line. So as someone is really good at the financials of it all, please reach out. I need you now. Okay, and then we're very excited that the student conference and the chapter design awards is coming back this year. And this year we're headed to Cleveland. So for those who are unaware, the City Center and the Chapter Design Awards so far have rotated 1 year City Center, the next year Chapter. So this is a Chapter Design Awards year. So our Cleveland team is very excited to host everyone up in the north, and we'll all get through it. We're hosting it in September, so it shouldn't be too cold yet, and we're good to go there. I got some pictures yesterday from the student team on the venue for the Student Expo. Everyone is very excited. So please make sure you save the date. And then the next slide will tell you a little bit more about what's happening. The QR code on the left is for students. So we want you to give us feedback on what you want to see, if you were involved last time, what was there. And if you fill out the survey, you give us some good information, you're entered to win a free ticket to the conference, which is a wonderful prize to win. We also want to hear from you. We want to do what is best for you. So please make sure you fill it out. I would say educators, if you're on the call, we also want to hear from you. And then on the right side is a survey for our A&D firms. So anything that you want to see happen for this conference, if you want to be involved as well, if you plan to come, please fill this out. We're looking for feedback from you on all levels in a firm so that we can make sure we're bringing you the best programming that's there. And benefactor opportunities. So Ryan Castle is on this call, and we're talking about money. If you want anyone to help, it's Ryan and Catherine. You've probably seen info from Ryan, emails coming through from Ryan. So this is the last call as this package is about to close. You can scan this QR code to look at any of the sponsorship levels. If you have any questions at all about it, you can reach out to Ryan. He is a wealth of knowledge in this area. You can reach out to any of us, but Ryan is your go-to guy for what's happening benefactor program wide. And then on the next slide, you're going to see we also have an opportunity to be both a design advocate and a student advocate. So what this means is if you are either an individual or a company who can't commit to a full benefactor sponsorship, but you do care about advocating for design, this commitment will go straight into our advocacy fund. So it's $200 if you are a benefactor, but you want to do an add-on, it's only $100. And that $100, again, goes straight to our advocacy fund to help with anything legislation-wise or advocacy efforts that we are approaching for this year. And then Student Advocate does just what it says there, covers one student membership. So as you know, when we are students, there is always money needed everywhere you turn. So this is helping one student stay involved in IIDA and covering that membership for them. And then here's just some events that's upcoming. So all over the chapter, every city center has a ton of great events coming up this year. The Friday Forum in Columbus happened 2 weeks ago, last week. It was wonderful. We had a great panel. We had a great turnout. It was awesome. We've got some people signed up for our Q practice group already, so they're going to start taking off. You're going to see the new member coffees that Chris will run with new members who will join. We'll talk membership. We'll get them welcomed. Advocacy Town Hall with Kristen. We'll get you up to speed on all things advocacy. Our next Friday Forum will be in Toledo. So our quarterly meeting will happen in April. So the whole chapter board, all the directors, and some of the volunteers from the City Center board will drive up to Toledo for meetings all day on Saturday. We're working now on the programming that will happen in April. So if you are in either Cleveland, Akron, or Toledo and want to pop in for Friday and do some networking, see some friends you haven't seen in the IGA in a while, we would gladly welcome you. May, we have our Thrive event, which you all have probably seen and participated in the past. It may look a little different in years to come, but we're just trying to grow and evolve every year with this event. So just know that it's happening again this year in May. And then Stephanie posted the link for the Kentucky Capital Day. The Ohio Capital Day is happening in May. And I would encourage all of you to go as we push towards that legislation, but you'll hear a lot more about that as it comes up. September is nothing but design awards and student conference. So you're going to see, and our president's getting married in September too. She's not crazy. She is doing all of that to herself, but we're going to figure out how to get her through that, and then married in October. But we'll get through it somehow. We really want all of you to be here for our design awards and student conference because it was such a great turnout last time. October will be our next Friday forum. That one will be in Cincinnati, Dayton. So Cincinnati, Kentucky, Columbus folks, I feel like it's a short distance for you all to go and drive and network with some friends you haven't seen in a while. And then as a chapter, we are hosting the regional CLC, which is the Chapter Leadership Council. So what that means is our regional chapters will all come together for presidents, president-elects, just to do the same thing that we do in our quarterly meetings, best practices, what's happening, resources from HQ. All those people will be somewhere in our chapter in October, and we'll figure that out. And then November, we will have another advocacy town hall. Just depending on what's going on in the world, we may need a little update from that. So all of this information you can find on the websites, and then you'll also see this on social media and email blasts. This is a high level look at all of the events happening. So there's a lot going on. If you have any questions anytime, you can reach out to us, your directors, anyone at all, and we'll make sure to get you in the right place. And then Get Connected. So if you aren't familiar with Get Connected, or you're not familiar with our IDA, or you are, but you want to get involved, a Get Connected is the perfect place for you to go. So Cleveland Akron just had theirs last week. We saw some great pictures. We heard there was a great turnout, and we love that. The rest of them are coming up. You can see the dates here, and the QR codes will take you to that page. These events are meant to help you get connected in IIDA. So if you're curious about a VP position or a board position or something even smaller like a subcommittee, and you want to figure out the best way for you to go and get involved, this is the perfect event for you. There are people there who are seasoned, who can tell you everything you need to know, and there are people there who know nothing and they're just trying to learn. So great events, encourage you to go, have fun. Even if you just want to go and hang out with some of your old IIDA friends, you can do that too. We'll take you. And then I think lastly from me, our social media pages. So I don't know how many of you are on the social media pages and following us. Our Instagram is linked here. We also have a Facebook page, and then LinkedIn as well, and YouTube. So you'll see this same logo, the same orange logo carried throughout every single one of these. And then we're posting all of our events here. So if you missed an email blast, you can see it on any of these channels too. So make sure to follow us, stay tuned. Sammy's been doing a great job at a Monday post to keep everyone involved on what's happening with the chapter. So you can follow her as well, or me anytime, just to make sure you're up to date on everything happening in the Ohio Kentucky chapter.
Thank you, Courtney. Now I'll open it up for questions from anyone. Any burning questions you want to ask for me, Courtney? We've got a lot of our VPs on the call and directors as well. Happy to answer anything we can.
Me, I have a quick question. So in the slide, it was toward the front that showed like our financials. I feel like that was maybe a little misleading because it was like 2% students, but where does the student conference fall in that chart?
So those are our 2025 financials. The
Okay.
2026 financials will be weighed much more heavily to have a
Yeah, because
student
it's like
presence.
that chart would be like a nice big chunk for students.
Absolutely, you're 100% correct.
Gotcha.
Anybody else?
Sammy, there is a question in the chat about receiving the QR code for this. So we can make sure to send out the presentation and or link any of the links that or QR codes that we've sent you in the chat. You should be able to go back and access the chat anytime, but we will make sure that we send out some type of communication that has this information in it so that you can see those QR codes as well.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of this information can be found on our website as well. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to hit us up there, or you can reach out to us at our general email, which is info@iidaohky.org as well. Okay, if there's no other questions, I will flip over to your IDCEC credit. If you've not done this before, there's an IDCEC app that you can scan your QR code with. If for some reason it's not working, it's okay. Don't panic. Send us an email at that info@iidaohky.org email address with your first name, last name, and your IDCEC number, and we can get it logged manually. I'm going to do it as well. So, okay, I'm going to leave this up for a little bit. No pressure to stay on. If you need to drop off, I'll play some background music, and everybody have a great afternoon.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Guys.